Hey guys, welcome back to our videos, whatever. This week we wanted to talk to you guys about being young and then taking more experience. And Joe can elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, so me and Jasmine were just talking about the fact of how crazy it is that when you become a young adult between the ages of, like, let's say 18 and 25, like, whenever you have a problem or a situation that you're dealing with, your natural inclination, if you're smart, is to seek the advice and guidance of people who are older than you, because if they're older than you, it should mean that they're kind of more experienced in life in general. And I've always been the type of person to do that ever since I was very young. If I'm struggling with something, I have a problem with something, I don't know something, I want to go to somebody who's older, who's been there, done that, experienced it, and leverage their experience so that I don't have to go through a lot of the same headaches that they did in order to get to where they are. But the conundrum and the problem that we've been seeing a lot lately is people that we've worked with in the past, we assume, especially as an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur, we assume that because they are older, that they are more experienced than us, which if they're older than us, yes, they are more experienced, but that doesn't mean that they have the correct experiences
That you need.
Exactly. For example, there's people who have been on their job for like 5, 10, 15 years, but they'll be basically outperformed by somebody who has only had that same job for 3 to 4 years. And the reason why that is because I feel like experience does not necessarily always equate to quality. There's a lot of people who are younger, and because they have done it more times, I think of experience as more of not time but reps. If that makes sense. It's
like
kind of hard
the
to
10,000 hours concept that was in the Malcolm Gladwell book, I believe.
Yeah. So here's what I mean. Let's say that you're a boxer and there's somebody who's been boxing for 10 years and you've only been boxing for like maybe 5 years. At the end of the day, if you have had, let's say, 100 matches in your 5 years, and the person who's been doing it for 10 years has only had 50 matches in their 10 years, at the end of the day, even though you haven't had the same amount of time that person has had, you have more reps. And I think a lot of times in entrepreneurship, we just assume that when people are older than us or more experienced than us, that they automatically have more reps in something. And they not only do they have more reps, but they have more quality reps. Like, I do pride myself on learning extremely quickly from tons of people. I have tons of mentors, more than most people. I know people that's like 2-3 times my age, and they haven't had half the mentors that I have. And that's not to brag, but it's to say that even though I'm young and I haven't had many years in business, I have had quality reps because I've done a lot in a very short period of time. And not only do I have a lot of reps, I also have quality because of the people that I surround myself with. They make sure that I do things in the correct manner. I always get coaching. Like right now, we're getting help growing and making our coffee shops more profitable. And the stuff that we're implementing are things that would have took us years to find out. Yeah. So one thing I want to say about experience is that at the end of the day, experience is something that obviously going through something is going to provide the most experience, but I feel like it's almost as valuable to get that experience from somebody else, either through a course or one-on-one coaching or whatever the case may be.
Just leveraging other people's experience to get you where you want to go faster.
Yeah, because Jesse Itzler, I watched an interview with him the other day, and he said that he was always inexperienced in every business that he made billions of dollars in. And the reason why is because he felt, which is very smart, he felt that experience would just take way too long to get. Think about it. Let's say you wanted to go into, you wanted to own skating rinks or something like that. Is it really advantageous for you to work at a skating rink for 20 years just to own one? Or can you find a mentor who's owned a skating rink for many years and then just leverage their experience so that you can own one in 2 years or 3 years.
And not just one mentor either, like you were just saying.
And not
multiple
just one,
mentors.
but multiple. And like, you know, it's kind of funny, but I kind of hold my mentors accountable because I surround myself with so many that a lot of times they may have opposing or differing ideas, but their opposing or differing ideas come together to help me make a better decision, to help me become a more well-rounded entrepreneur. For example, we are learning how to do, you know, business the right way. And I'm learning so much from my mentor, Ed, but he didn't necessarily cover how to find off-market deals as much. So I have another mentor who's going to train me on that. And not only that, I see another mentor who does business internationally, which is something that neither one of the other mentors teaches. So I have to leverage him too. It's going to all come together to make me more rounded. If you're an athlete,
it's like, you know, I just thought of the perfect example. You guys know how you get the Italian ice and ice cream together, like the same swirl? It's the same swirl.
I didn't get that because I don't eat that much dessert.
I'll put a picture up.
But I was going to compare it to, like, if you're an athlete, let's say you're a football player, there's a reason why there's a head coach, there's a defensive coach, there's an offensive coach, there's a special teams coach. You may have a coach for a specific position specifically. You may have a speed coach, a weightlifting coach. There's so many different types of coaches. And the reason there are so many different types of coaches is because as an athlete, in order to be well-rounded, you have to leverage the experience of people who have expertise in specific areas in which you are working or have the ability to work. So if you're young, don't just assume that one person is going to be able to tell you all the information that you need in order to do very, very well in business and athletics or art or anything that you do. Always get a second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth opinion if you can, because in the long run, you will be better for it.
And I just want to leave this quote / Bible verse with you guys because in this morning in my Bible study, I came upon this quote and I was like, wow, this is just great. And it relates so much to our topic. And I just want to remind you guys that just because you're young doesn't mean that you're you know, you're worthless or you're not as valuable as the other players on your team and as valuable as your mentors. So the verse is from 1 Timothy 4:12, and this is in the New Living Translation. And it says, "Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity." So this also goes to business if you haven't, if you didn't catch on to basically everything you do and everything you are. So just remember that just because you're young, you are worthy.